Hey guys, I just finished reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban this last weekend. This is, for me, one of the books in the Harry Potter series I loved most as a kid. It is one of those books that just made me feel like I could do everything. It made me laugh and, it had such a sense of adventure. And so rereading it, I was quite excited to see how I felt. This, of course, is the story where Sirius Black, the convicted murderer, is on the loose. And Harry finds out that Sirius is his godfather, who also betrayed his parents, leading to their death. There are a couple of things that I noticed now that I find myself either enjoying or being critical of as an adult that I wouldn't have noticed as a kid. And that, for me, is always the most fun part of rereading these books. So I'm going to start off with the things that I really liked about this book, and then we'll go on and talk about some of the things I was a little bit more skeptical of. First off, I loved reading about Sirius. And part of this is just a nostalgia trip for me, because I had built up in my head as a kid what Sirius Black must have been like, and really liked that version. It's also still just fun to get a glimpse into what the world was like pre-Voldemort, or at Voldemort's height. I also had never noticed what a good teacher Remus Lupin is. He's the first teacher in Hogwarts who they talk about being active and involved with his students while still providing an educational setting. He engages his students in a practical, hands-on way that the other teachers seem to not be able to connect to. And so, while a lot of what they do seems spontaneous, right? Just catching a boggart or doing, hickey punks as an obstacle course. These all seem, I think, a little bit frivolous, or they're seen as being frivolous by a lot of the professors. But to me, it's like, wow, what a way to tap into your students' interests and engage them in the content that they're learning about in a way that's really going to make a difference. Can you tell I have a little bit of Remus Lupin love? I also really loved reading about Hermione. The moment when you realize what's going on with her having all of the classes, for me, it's very much an empowering moment. It was one of those moments I looked to as a kid and was like, if she can take on everything and be successful, I can do it too. And a lot of reading about Hermione taking all those classes and working so hard and still being there for her friends and doing legal research for Hagrid, all of that kind of still hits those empowerment notes for me. And on top of that, this is the first book where we really see Hermione, let go. She punches Draco in the face. She takes no shit from Trelawney. More importantly to me, she has the power to say, I can do this if I want, and the power to say, I don't want to do this anymore, right? Particularly in this case with her classes. And so much of that was really impactful as a kid, but still hits those same notes as an adult, and I was so happy to see that. On the other hand, we have a couple of sketchy things, two in particular I'm going to talk about. The first, I did not notice as a child, but Mrs. Weasley definitely is joking around about having slipped some kids' love potions when she was in school. Which is maybe not a thing you should tell impressionable children about, especially because that's really highly illegal and also kind of fucked up. You shouldn't be messing around with people's emotions. It's really the equivalent of drugging someone. And so seeing her joke about it, especially knowing what I know about Tom Riddle's history, right? His mother's use of love potions, or what we learn about love potions in book 7. It's just maybe this isn't a laughing matter, Molly. The other thing that kind of struck me when I was reading this is how much people were brushing aside Severus Snape's experiences with Sirius Black. It comes out mid to late way through the book that Sirius Black actually tried to kill Snape. And we're not talking haha, this is a funny joke. We're talking about I'm going to actively trick you and send you into a lair where I know a monster is waiting, ready to kill you. I'm not going to warn you. I'm not going to tell my friends I'm doing it. It's very malicious and kind of makes me think twice. And more striking, perhaps, is how much everybody else is kind of like, Snape, get over it. Dumbledore says something along the lines of like, oh, Remus and his friends did Snape a bad turn when they were in school. It's like, no, Sirius tried to kill him. If somebody wanted me dead, I maybe wouldn't trust them after their attempt. Overall, like, as I read these more as an adult, I find myself sympathizing with a lot of characters who I just didn't as a kid. For instance, reading about Filch and him taking his, like, bi-male classes to learn magic, or reading about Snape and realizing just how nasty. I feel so bad for a lot of the side characters. There's just a lot that goes on that doesn't strike you as wrong as a child, but knowing better as an adult makes me view a lot of the characters with more sympathy. But overall, it was a good one to reread. Again, the characterization, the setting descriptions, the magical creatures are all fantastic, and it does hit those fun adventure notes. Those are something that I think Rowling is really good at doing. Her narrative style is still just kind of roundabout, but also to the point at the same time. So she has this funny way of pointing exactly at a character's flaws and saying it in kind of that passive-aggressive tone that you know what she's saying is snarkier than it would sound if it was coming out of, like, your grandma's mouth. And I really enjoyed reading it. There were a lot of highlights to me. I just find that I have a deeper understanding now as an adult, and I'm actually kind of liking that. You know the drill. Comment, like, and subscribe. I will see you later.